Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday morning yoga. Hope everyone is well. This morning it's quite a slow class this morning. It's nice and chilled. We're going to be working on the hamstring stretches, so we've got quite a lot of deep, slow stretches that we're going to be holding for a while. So if you haven't already, get yourself something that resembles a yoga strap. Or a dressing gown belt, something like that. There's a couple of stretches where we are going to be extending our legs, so sometimes it's just a bit easier to use a strap to hold onto your leg. And another couple of things that you might need as well are 2 big books, or if you've got yoga blocks or yoga bricks, they would be perfect. But these are just mainly to put your hands on when we come into a couple of hamstring stretches. Just to prevent your back from rounding, so we will place them underneath the hands to allow you to lift up your chest. Don't worry if you don't have them, there's options without the prop, so you can place your hands on your hips instead, or you can grab onto another part of your leg instead of using a strap, so don't worry if you don't have them, we will be fine without them. It's just a nice to have. Oh, and also pillows and blankets obviously for your Shavasana, if you want to go and grab those. We'll get started in about a minute or so. So if you have just put it on, just turned on YouTube, get a strap or something that resembles a yoga strap. Just something that you can wrap around your feet for a couple of hamstring stretches. And some bricks, yoga blocks, or a couple of big books. So Harry Potter books are the perfect size, the big ones. So you could do with 2 of those. And your blankets and your pillows, anything that you want to use for your Shavasana at the end. We are going to start, excuse me, we are going to start seated. So when you're ready, come and get yourself into a comfortable seated position. Instead of our usual cross leg position, we're actually going to start with our legs extended out long in Dandasana. So if you want to, and I would recommend sitting on something just to give yourself a little bit of a lift up, so it helps you tilt your pelvis, especially on a morning when we're usually a bit tighter. Hamstrings are a little bit tighter, so you might just want to pop something underneath your sit bones. It can be a pillow, it can be a couple of books. We are going to start, we're going to be here for about 5 breaths, and then we're going to come into a forward fold to start the class. If it does get uncomfortable at any point, you can always come and lay on your back instead. So we will start in this seated pose. So take your legs out long. Start to flex your toes back towards your knees, so your legs are really active. If you find sitting in this position collapses your lower back, so if you feel like you're slumping into the lower spine, bend your knees and then see if you can lift the chest up a little bit more. So you really want to try and find a straight spine here. It also helps if you add a few more layers to sit on. That extra bit of height can help you tilt your pelvis backwards so you can lift up through the spine. Bring your hands just alongside your legs, so you just want excuse me, you just want to be on the fingertips of the hands, so just place them right alongside your thighs. The fingertips are kind of just brushing the floor, you're not really using them to support your weight. Take a full inhale in through the nose, hold it at the top, and then exhale, sigh out. We'll do that one more time. Take a full inhale in through the nose, hold it at the top, and exhale, sigh out. This time as you inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears, hold the inhale at the top, exhale, sigh out, roll the shoulders back and down. One more time, inhaling in through the nose, bring the shoulders up, hold it at the top. Exhale, sigh out the mouth, roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Keep the shoulders down. As you exhale, just start to reach forward, so you're tilting from the pelvis. Keep the spine straight and just stop when you feel like your lower back is rounding. From there, bring your hands down onto the thighs, or you can place the hands onto the mat, and just allow your spine to round. So you're really starting to relax your head, relax your shoulders, trying to bring your chest towards the thighs. If this feels like it's tugging the lower spine, I would recommend bending your knees a little bit more. We are going to be here for about 2 minutes. So if it does get uncomfortable, you can always come and lay down instead, or just relax out of it, sit up out of it, and then see if you can come back into it. So you'll probably find it feels quite tight at the moment, but the more time we spend in this position, the more the muscles in the hamstrings will relax, so it'll feel a little bit easier. So in this position, just start to tune back in with the breath. So taking a couple more of those deep inhales, deep exhales. If you liked holding the inhales at the top, then you're more than welcome to stick with that style of breath. If that wasn't working for you, then just find a rhythm of breath that works for you. Just start to allow the body to relax here. So letting the head soften, the neck soften, the shoulders soften. And just start to observe any sensations in this position. So notice where you can feel the stretch, whether you can feel it in the hamstrings, at the back of the legs. Maybe you can feel it in the calves. Maybe you can feel it in the ankles as well as we flex the toes back towards the chest. This is a stretch of the lower back, so you might be able to feel some sensation around the lower spine. You don't want it to be uncomfortable, so if it does feel uncomfortable, then just ease out of it a little bit. And then just start to observe the breath. We have already started to deepen the breath, so just notice the quality of the breath, notice the length of the breath. Notice whether the breath feels quite deep already, whether it feels quite easy, fluid, or whether it feels a bit sticky, a little bit rigid, anywhere it feels like it's getting stuck. And start to take your time now to ease out that breath. So trying to iron out anywhere in the breath that feels a little bit rigid. So you're trying to find a really smooth rhythm of breath. So starting to deepen the inhales, deepen the exhales. If you haven't already, close the eyes or soften the gaze. And with your exhales, allow your body to become even heavier. Maybe start to take the breath from the throat a little bit more, so cultivating that ujjayi breath, that whispering quality to the breath. With every cycle of breath, just starting to make it a little bit deeper, a little bit fuller. Softening the forehead, softening the jaw. Just start to notice now how your body feels. Noticing whether there's a little bit more space in this position, whether you can feel your body start to relax a little bit more, relaxing into those hamstrings. And if it feels okay, you might want to start straightening the legs out a little bit more here. Again, if that feels like it's tugging the lower spine, then just ease out of it. Keep those knees bent. We're going to take about 5 more cycles of breath here. So just find 5 inhales, 5 exhales in your own time. Really using those exhales to let go, just to surrender into this position. Trying to keep that head heavy, that neck relaxed, the shoulders away from the ears. Using your inhales to breathe into the belly, breathe into the chest. So sometimes we tend to keep our breath in the chest and the throat, but see if you can start to bring that breath into the belly. taking about 2 more cycles of breath here. And then as you exhale, slowly blink the eyes open. Just start to walk the hands back towards your seat. Keeping the cushion underneath your sit bones if you had one. You might just want to make sure that you've got your strap quite close. Just place both hands behind your back, come on to fingertips, lift up the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together and allow your lower back to round. This is going to create a really good stretch across the front of the chest into the shoulder blades. If you do quite a lot of cycling, this is a good one to do to counter stretch all of the position that we spend sat round on our bike or and also on a desk as well. So from here, start to walk the fingertips in a little bit closer, start to straighten that spine. We are going to catch hold of our left leg, bend that left knee, and just start to rock it from side to side a little bit here. So just getting into that hip. Just notice if you can feel this anywhere in particular when you're moving that knee around. So maybe move in circles in one direction, then swap direction, go in the other direction. Okay, so hold that knee where it is. 2 options here. Option 1 is to hook the strap around the very base of that left foot. So right in the middle between the ball of the foot and the heel. Option 2 is to use your right hand and catch hold of the outside of that left foot. Whichever option you're going with, we are then going to start to extend that left leg out as much as we can and place your left fingertips on the mat behind you just to give yourself a little bit of support for that lower spine. So you really want to think about engaging that left quad. You might need to keep a micro bend in that left knee, that's absolutely fine. You should be able to feel this stretch in the left hamstring. From here, you can either stay here or start to twist your chest towards the left. Maybe lifting up that left arm and extending those left fingertips out wide. If you've lifted up that hand from the mat, make sure that you haven't started to lean back into the spine. Really lift up the chest, lengthen that spine and just twist over that left arm so your gaze is moving towards the left. Keep breathing here. A couple more full inhales, full exhales. Don't lose that connection with the breath. And then as you exhale, release that left leg. We will swap sides, so extend that left leg back out. Grab hold of your right knee and just start to rock it gently from side to side. Maybe moving in circles, noticing where you can feel anything in this movement. You might not be able to feel anything, you might be able to feel a slight stretch in the hip as you move it across to the side. And then either taking hold of your strap and hooking that strap right underneath that right foot, so in between the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot, or using your left hand on the outside of that right foot. Whichever variation you're going with, start to extend that right leg out long, hold the strap with the left arm, and then just place your right fingertips behind you. So again, you can stay here, really activate that right quad, maybe keeping a micro bend in that right knee to take some tension off the hamstring. Or you can start to hover the right hand off the mat, twist your chest over to the right and start to extend that arm backwards, just taking your gaze over that right arm. If this does mean that you're collapsing into that lower spine, see if you can lift up through the chest, really use that abdominal core to keep your spine upright. The shoulders are relaxed. Keep breathing here. Take one more full round of breath, one more full inhale and one more full exhale. And then slowly release that right leg back down. Pop your strap to the side. We will need that at the end of the class. So from this position, just make your way into a tabletop position. So coming onto all fours, you can pop your blankets, cushions, anything that you were using to sit on to the side. So hands are stacked underneath the shoulders and the knees are as wide as the hips. It's up to you whether you keep the toes tucked or untuck the toes, just whatever feels best on the knees here. You're going to start to get into those hamstrings a little bit more. So with an inhale, extend that right leg out long. Keep your core stable, so really pull the belly button back towards the spine and press into the mat with the hands. As you exhale, bend the right knee, squeeze the right heel into the bum as much as you can. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, bend the right knee, squeeze the right knee into the right elbow, crunch the right knee to elbow, and then as you inhale, extend that right leg all the way back out again. Exhale, bend the right knee, squeeze your right heel to your bum. Inhale, see if you can squeeze it a little bit more, really turning that right hamstring on. And then as you exhale, squeezing the right knee towards the right elbow, crunch right knee, right elbow. Inhale, extend it back. We'll do 2 more like this. Exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, squeeze the right knee to the bum as hard as you can. And then exhale, bend that right knee in towards the elbow. Last round. Inhale, extend that right leg out. Exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, squeeze right foot to right glute. See if you can squeeze it a bit harder this time. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, crunch the right knee to the right elbow. And then step it back into your tabletop position. Tuck the toes under. Send the hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. So just take a couple of movements in this one. Bending one knee, bending the other knee. We're not going to be here for too long. When you are ready, start to find some stillness in this position. So the feet want to be as wide as the hips and the hands are as wide as the shoulders. Bend your knees a little bit and then start to walk the feet towards the hands. Pick up your left hand and then thread the left hand through, catching hold of the right thigh, right shin, or maybe the right ankle. If you have that right heel lifted, and if this is available to you, start to drop that right heel down towards the mat. So you're trying to straighten that right leg as much as you can. If you can also start to straighten the left leg here as well. So pressing that left heel down to the floor. Either stay in here or take your gaze up towards the right armpit. So you're twisting into that T-spine. Allow your left elbow to bend so this can pull your chest over towards the right. Keep the head heavy, keep the shoulders relaxed, keep breathing. On your next exhale, coming back into your downward facing dog, drop the knees down. Again, either tucking the toes or untucking the toes. This time, extend the left leg out long. Find that strong core, belly button pulls back towards the spine. Hands spread wide, press down into the mat. Inhale here. As you exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, squeeze the left heel to the bum as hard as you can. And then exhale, crunch left knee, left elbow. Inhale, extend that left leg. Exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, squeeze that left heel to the bum as much as you can. Exhale, crunch knee to elbow. 2 more. Keep moving slowly with control. Inhale, extend the left leg. Exhale to bend the left knee. Inhale, squeeze left heel, left butt cheek as hard as you can. Exhale, crunch left knee, left elbow, last round. Inhale, extend that left leg. Exhale, bend the left knee. Squeeze the foot to the bum on your inhale, squeeze it as hard as you can. And then exhale, crunch left knee, left elbow. And then step it back into your tabletop position. Tucking the toes under, sending the hips up and back into your downward dog 1 more time. Again, just give it a little bit of movement here. So bending one knee, bending the other knee. Maybe giving the head a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a nod. Start to find stillness here. Bending the knees. Walk the feet a little bit closer towards the hands. From here, pick up the right hand and thread it through, catching hold of the left thigh, left calf, or catching hold of that left heel. If it's available to you, start to straighten that left leg and try and drop the left heel down towards the floor. Maybe extending that right heel down as well, so you're straightening that right leg as much as you can too. You can stay here or start to twist your chest up towards the sky, taking your gaze up towards that left armpit and bending that right elbow to get that twist into the T-spine as well. Keep the head heavy, keep the shoulders relaxed, keep breathing. Take 1 more full inhale. And as you exhale, come back into your downward facing dog and hold it here. So just take some movements in this downward dog. Pedaling the legs, bending one knee, bending the other knee. Fingertips are spread wide. Whenever you're ready, finding stillness. Looking in between your hands, bend the knees, and just walk the feet in between the hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, coming up halfway, either coming onto the fingertips, onto the shins, or onto the thighs. Just making sure that you've got a nice straight spine wherever you are. Take one full inhale in through the nose here. And as you exhale, fold forwards a little bit deeper. You can bend your knees here. Keep that spine straight. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding forwards a little bit deeper. Trying to tilt from the hips, so really push your bum back. 2 more. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Bring the hands up overhead. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, coming straight back down. Forward fold as you exhale. Bring those fingertips down towards the feet. Keep that spine nice and long. Bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, halfway lift, coming onto fingertips or shins. And then we're going to cross the right foot behind the left foot. So you're trying to bring your pinky toes, want to touch, or at least get them as close together as you can. So left leg is in front of the right leg. Keep those legs as straight as you can. You can keep a micro bend in those knees though if it is rounding or tugging the lower spine. We're just going to take a couple of bounces, a couple of pulses in this position. So just moving up and down as quickly or as slowly as you like, feeling that stretch in the back of the hamstrings. You can either keep your fingertips on the floor, you can place the hands on the legs, you can place the hands on the hips. With every bounce down, just think about pushing your bum backwards. So rather than taking this from the spine, so rather than rounding the back, really think about pushing the bum backwards. You should be able to feel quite a nice stretch in those hamstrings. With every bounce, see if you can get a little bit further, a little bit closer towards the toes. We'll stay here for another 5, 3, keep breathing, 2, and 1. Uncross that right foot, bring both feet underneath the hips. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, really bend the knees and place the hands down onto the mat, and then step back with that right leg, dropping the right knee down. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. And as you exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, bring those elbows in line with the shoulders. So you really want to squeeze your bum here. This is going to get you that stretch in that right hip flexor. Tuck your sit bones under. If you need to grab a pillow or anything to go underneath that right knee, you're more than welcome to do so. We are going to hold it here in this hip flexor psoas stretch. So if you can't feel anything here, start to bend into that left knee a little bit more. Keep that core active, belly button pulls back towards the spine, shoulders are down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together like you're trying to squeeze a pencil in between the shoulder blades. Breathe here. If it feels better for your knee, you can untuck the right toe, coming onto the flat of the back of the foot, like where the shoelaces would be. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, bring the arms back, send your hips back, start to straighten that left leg as much as you can, and then start to peel that left foot off the mat. So we're coming into our half split hamstring stretch. You might just need to shuffle the left foot around somewhere so you can find a good stretch, a good position for this stretch. We're not going to hold it here just yet. We're going to keep moving between those two stretches, that hip flexor stretch and this hamstring stretch. So take an inhale, bend that left knee, bring the arms up overhead or into your cactus. And then as you exhale, take the arms all the way back, send the hips up and back, find that hamstring stretch. Inhale, bend into the left knee, arms come into your cactus or bring the arms up overhead, completely up to you. And then as you exhale, sending the hips all the way up and back into your hamstring stretch. Just keep working with these two movements. You don't have to be in time with me. try and find your breath. So inhales are there to stretch the hip flexor, exhales are there to stretch the hamstring. If you would rather be doing something else with your arms, with your hands, you're also more than welcome to do that as well. You can keep the hands on the hips. If you've got books or blocks, you can place the hands onto those instead. It is completely up to you. Just find a rhythm, a movement here that works for your body, that allows you to feel this stretch the most. We'll stay here for another 2 cycles, so don't worry if you're not in time with me. I'll tell you when we're finishing and when we're going to meet. So just work with your breath. Try not to hold the breath at any point. The next time you come back into your exhale, into your hamstring stretch, we're going to hold it here. It's quite a deep stretch for that left hamstring. So if you do have books, you might just want to place those books next to your leg. This is going to allow you to lift up that chest. Alternative options are to place the hands onto the hips, or you can place the hands down onto the floor, as long as that doesn't mean that you're rounding the lower back. So in this position, check that your hips are square. So it's quite easy in this position for us to take a little bit of pain away from the hamstring and compensate in the hips by opening up the hips. So pull the right hip forward and pull the left hip back. If your lower back is rounding, it is fine. It just means that we are stretching the lower back instead. So to take that stretch out, lift up the chest and really push your bum backwards. It looks like an easy stretch, but it's actually very intense, a little bit hard. Use your exhales here to find softness. So see if you can relax into that hamstring a little bit more. Relax the head, relax the neck, relax the shoulders, and unclench the jaw. Slowly start to bend that left knee. Place the left sole of the foot flat onto the mat. Bring your hands alongside the left foot. Tuck the right toes, lift up the right knee. Step the right foot to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, we're going straight back down, forward fold. Bring the fingertips down towards the floor. Bend those knees as much as you need. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, place the left foot behind the right foot. So crossing those legs over. Imagine that you're trying to get your pinky toes as close to each other as you can. Depending on the shape of your foot, that will differ for everyone. So from this position, we're going to take those bounces, those pulses again. So bouncing up and down, either keeping the hands on the floor, hands on the legs, hands on the hips. Moving as quickly or as slowly as you want here, just feeling that stretch to the back of the legs. You will find that you will benefit from this stretch a lot more if you think about pushing your bum backwards. That is going to really intensify that hamstring stretch a lot more. So rather than rounding through the spine, bending in the back, use your bum, push your bum backwards. We will stay here for another 5. See if you can get a little bit deeper. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Uncross the legs, step the left foot out, bring the feet as wide as the hips. Inhale, lift up the chest. As you exhale, this time step the left leg back, drop that left knee down. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead, coming into your high lunge position, the hands up overhead. Gonna exhale, cactus that hands. So finding that psoas stretch, that left hip flexor stretch. Really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Elbows are in line with the shoulders. Spread the hands wide. From here, make sure that your abdominal core is engaged so that belly button pulls back towards the spine and your bum is tucked under. So don't let your bum flare backwards. Keep this midline area tucked under and tight. There is the option to bend into that right knee a little bit more just to intensify that stretch in that left hip. Keep squeezing your glutes, especially the left glute here. If it does hurt the knee, feel free to place pillows underneath the knee. You can also lift up that back leg if you would like to. As you exhale, send the hips up and back. Bring the hands back behind you. extend that right leg and start to peel those right toes up towards the floor. So we're finding that half split position. With an inhale, bend back into the right leg, bring the arms into your cactus position, or bring the arms up overhead. So we're going to keep moving through those two. Exhale, send the hips all the way back, bring the arms back behind. Inhale, right foot comes down, cactus the arms, or lift the arms up overhead. So as we did on the other side, just find a rhythm here that works for you. Don't worry about being in time with me. Just find your breath. So with your inhales, bend into the knee, stretch that hip flexor. With your exhales, pull the hips back. Find that stretch in that right hamstring. With every exhale, just see if you can get a little bit deeper into that hamstring. See if you can find a little bit more room, a little bit more space. Again, you can do whatever you want with your hands. Either keep working with the cactus, or you can keep the hands on the hips. You can place the hands on the floor or on your books. We'll take another 2 cycles here. So just moving in your own time. Try not to rush through. The next time you exhale, the next time you come to that half split position, hold it here. So if you would like to get your books and place your hands onto the books, you are more than welcome to do so. Really think about, in this position, trying to push your bum backwards. So you can get a really good stretch just being upright like this. As soon as you start to tilt your pelvis, get that anterior tilt, that hamstring starts to stretch. Hands can be on the books, they can be on the floor, they can stay on the hips. Make sure that you haven't started to open up the hips. So to compensate, sometimes we push our right hip forward. So really think about drawing the right hip back and sending the left hip forward. Tilting from the pelvis rather than rounding through the spine. Really lift up the chest here. Find your exhales. Those exhales are going to make this feel a lot more relaxing, even though it's painful. Try and use those exhales to feel a bit more relaxed, surrendering a little bit more into that hamstring. Start to shuffle that right foot back down onto the floor, bending the right knee. Bring the hands alongside your right foot, tuck the toes, lift the left knee, and step the left foot to meet the right at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips, shins or thighs. Exhale, forward fold. Place both hands onto the floor. Step back into your plank position and hold it here. So really squeeze your bum, keep those legs engaged. Either keeping the knees on or off the mat, bend the elbows, lower the hips and chest down towards the floor. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up the chest, either coming into your Sphinx position, onto the forearms, shoulders away from the ears, or coming into your upward dog, hands underneath the shoulders, pressing up, lifting up the chest. Wherever you are, as you exhale, lower the chest down towards the floor, tucking the toes under, lift up the thighs, either moving through a tabletop position or moving through a plank, coming up into your downward facing dog. We'll take 5 breaths here. So if you'd rather take a child's pose with the knees out wide, feet together, chest coming down, you're more than welcome to do so instead. So just use this time to connect back in with the breath. See if you can find a smooth rhythm of breath, full inhales, deep exhales. If you're in your downward dog, allowing the shoulders to move away from the ears, maybe giving the head a little nod, a little shake. Grab a drink of water whenever you need to. When you're in your down dog or your child's pose, it's a good time to get a drink. If you were in your child's position, make your way back up into your downward facing dog. With an inhale, lift up the right foot and step the right knee to the right elbow. Drop the right foot down to replace the right hand. You can use that right arm to pull that right foot through. This time keep the left leg lifted. Press into your right foot. Inhale, hands come up overhead. As you exhale, place the hands onto the hips and then make your stance a little bit narrower. So step the left foot in. So you've got about a stride gap between your right foot and your left foot. The left foot turns out slightly, about a 45-degree angle. The right foot faces forward. Make sure in this position as well that both feet are still hip width and that your feet haven't started to cross over. So you've not got one crossing in front of the other. Keeping the hands on the hips for now. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, push your bum and your hips backwards and just start to fold forwards over that right leg. Really engage the quads here, so lift up the kneecaps. Go as far as you can until you start to feel your back rounding. You're more than welcome to stay here, or we're going to add in a little bit of a thoracic spine twist into this position. So place your left hand either onto your right thigh or your right shin, or reach down to grab that right ankle, or place a book underneath that right leg and place your left hand onto the book. If there's any tension in that right knee, just keep a micro bend in that right knee. With an inhale, reach the right arm out to a T position, and as you exhale, press the left hand either into the book or the right leg and lift up your chest towards the right. So you're lifting up that right arm. Keep your fingertips in line with your shoulder, so try not to take that arm too high so that you can't see your fingertips. In this position, check that your hips are square. So it is easy in this position to let the hips move around, so pull the right hip back and pull the left hip forward. Keep those hips square. You should feel a good twist into that T-spine and also a good stretch down the back of that right leg here. Find your breath with every exhale, seeing if you can twist a little bit more. As you exhale, we're going to take the twist out of this stretch, but stay with the hamstring. So bring both hands either down towards the right foot or onto that right leg. You're more than welcome to stay here, or make it a little bit of a deeper stretch by stepping that left foot back even further. So try and keep that left foot flat onto the floor. This might be a good time for you to get those books, just to give yourself something to place your fingertips onto. Keep any bend in that right knee if it gets intense, or if there's any tension. So really use your exhales here to relax into that hamstring. Keep those hips square, pull the right hip back. We are going to walk both hands onto the inside of that right leg. And then start to walk the hands forward. You should feel this stretch a little bit more on the inside of that hamstring, that inside of that right leg. If this is intense, then you can either keep your hands on your hips, just pushing the bum backward, or you can grab those books, place the hands onto the books. It is an intense stretch. This time walk both hands back to frame that right foot, and then take both fingertips over towards the right side. Again, another really deep stretch. You might feel this more in the IT band, the outside of the hip, the inside of the hip. So if it is uncomfortable, just ease out of it. We're not going to be here for long. Use those exhales to relax into it, and then walk both hands to frame that right foot. Wherever you are, bend the right knee. Your hamstring is not going to want to do this, but we are going to take off into our warrior 3. Lift up that left leg. Ooh, feel that right hamstring. Flex the left foot, use those quads, find your balance. Hands can either stay behind you, come onto the hips, come to the heart center. We're going to be here for another 5. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your right knee, drop the left toes down. Inhale, lift up the hands. As you exhale, drop your left heel down, open up into your warrior 2. Shuffle the right foot across as much as you need so that the right heel is in line with those left toes. Just taking your gaze over that right arm. We're not going to be in our warrior 2 for too long here. So find your alignment, engage the core, belly button pulls back towards the spine, and tuck your sit bones under. Staying exactly as you are, the only thing we're going to change is that right knee. So straighten that right leg. We're going to move into Utthita Trikonasana. So take an inhale, reach the right hand forwards, tilt from that right hip, and then drop that right hand either onto the right thigh, right shin, right ankle, and lift the left arm up. This is another position where you can use those books if you've got them. You can place a book in front of that right leg and place the hand onto the book instead. So if there is any tension in that right knee, or if you feel like you're hyperextending, keep a micro bend in that right leg. Open up the left arm towards the sky, keep that left shoulder down, try and twist your chest up towards the ceiling. Tuck the sit bones under a lot. This is going to help you get that stretch down the left side of the body. As you exhale, look down to the right foot. Inhale, coming all the way up to the centre. And then just turn the toes in. Make sure that the feet are parallel, so the feet want to be in line. Placing the hands onto the hips. Inhale, lift up the chest. As you exhale, push the hips all the way back. Bring your hands down towards the floor, as close towards the floor as you can get them. If you would like to, you can place the hands on your book instead. Or you can grab hold of your ankles, thigh, shin, just anywhere that you can reach. If this position feels difficult, make your feet a little bit wider. If it feels easy, make your feet a little bit narrower. You're aiming in this position to bring your palms of your hands down onto the mat. And then once your hands have met the mat, you imagine that you're pushing your hands into the mat. So imagine you're trying to push your mat away from you, and this is going to help you bring the crown of the head down towards the floor. If your hands are flat on the mat, then screw the elbows backwards and in, bend the elbows. Bring a little bit more weight into the toes. Really lift up those quads, engage the thighs. Keep breathing here. Using your exhales to soften into this stretch, to find a little bit more deepness. On your next inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands come onto the hips. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Pivot around, frame that right foot with the hands, and then step the right foot back to meet the left foot at the back of the mat. Plank position. As you exhale, lower the hips and chest down, tucking those toes under, lifting up to your down dog, either through your tabletop position or coming through plank. Send the hips all the way up and back. Either staying here or taking 5 breaths in your child's position. So we've just got one more round on the other side that we've not done. So we're nearly there. So find your breath here. See if you can tune back in with those full inhale sequence on the next side as well. If you were in your child's pose, make your way back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, pick up that left foot and then squeeze the left knee as close towards the left elbow as you can. Drop that left foot down to replace the left hand. Use your hand to shuffle it forward as much as you need. Keep the right knee lifted, press into the left foot, inhale, coming all the way up into your lunge position. Hands come onto the hips, make your stance a little bit narrower, step that right foot in half a stride, keeping that right foot at a 45-degree angle and keeping both feet in line with the hips. Hands are on the hips, we inhale to lift up the chest. As you exhale, push your bum backwards, fold forwards over that left leg, keeping the spine nice and straight, and then stop when you feel that back start to round. Either staying here in this hamstring stretch or coming into that T-spine twist as well. Right hand either onto the thigh or onto the shin, onto the ankle or onto a book or a block. We inhale, lift up that left arm to a T. As you exhale, press into the right hand, lift up the left arm, twist the chest up towards the sky, keeping the left fingertips in line with the left shoulder. So this stretch is also a little bit of a test of your balance as well, so don't worry if you feel like you're falling around a lot here. Keeping the hips square, so pull the right hip backwards, left hip forward, so you've got those square hips. Keep breathing with every exhale to see if you can twist a little bit more into that left hand. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, keep the neck relaxed. Option to stay here. No, there isn't. You're not staying here. we are going to take the twist out of this position and just stick with the hamstring stretch. So bring both hands down to frame that left foot. There is an option to stay here in this hamstring stretch, or make it a little bit deeper, stepping the right foot back a little bit further. So you're making a wide stance here. Both hands are framing that left foot, or you can place the books underneath the hands, or you can place the hands on the hips instead. Any tension at all in that left hamstring or left knee, or like uncomfortable pain, micro bend your left knee. It's not going to be a nice sensation because we're stretching the hamstring, so there is going to be some kind of burning sensation there, but if it feels painful, bend that left knee. Now from here, start to walk both hands onto the inside of the right leg. So we're stretching the inside of the hamstring instead, inside of that left leg. Keep pushing your bum back. Really find your breath. Use those exhales to soften, to stretch a little bit deeper. Slowly start to walk both hands back to the center, and then take them all the way over to the left, finding that stretch in the IT band. And you might feel this a lot more intense. You might find it's easier on one side than the other side. Really find that breath. That slow breath does make this feel a lot more comfortable. Bringing both hands back to frame that left foot. Bend your left knee. Ignore what your hamstring says. We're going to take off into our warrior 3. Lift up that back leg. Find your balance. Flex that right foot. Hands can either come onto the hips, prayer position in the chest. Bring them out to a T. Take them out behind you. Find something still to look at. Balancing. It's hard, so don't worry if you're falling around. We are going to be here for another 5, 4, 3, I know it hurts, 2, and 1. Bend your left knee, drop the right toes down. Inhale, lift the hands up overhead. As you exhale, drop the right heel down. Open up the arms into your warrior 2. I'm just going to spin around so that you can see me. So in your warrior 2, we're not going to be here for long, but we're just going to work on the alignment of the hips here. So belly button pulls back towards the spine. Really get that core engagement and tuck your bum under. So you don't want to have your bum stuck out like this. Tuck your bum down, lift your pelvis up, and really squeeze that midline tight. Keeping that activation in the midline, we're just going to start to straighten that left leg. Just check that you've still got that left heel in line with the right toes. Inhale, reach the left hand forward, drop down from that left hip, and then bring your left hand either onto the thigh, onto the shin, or onto the ankle, or place a book in front of that left leg. Reach your right arm up, twist your right shoulder backwards, and find that stretch down that right side of the body and into that left hamstring. Again, really tuck the sit bones under. That's going to help you get that stretch down that side body. Let your neck relax. If it does hurt the neck looking up to that right hand, you can keep looking down to the left foot instead. Micro bend that left knee whenever you need to, especially if there's any pain or if you feel like you're hyperextending, so if that knee is bending backwards. Keep your quads engaged. As you exhale, look down to that left foot. Inhale, coming all the way back through center. Turn the toes in, and then make sure that both feet are in line now. So both feet are parallel, and the toes just turn in slightly. Bring your hands onto your hips. Take an inhale, lift up the chest. As you exhale, tilt forward from the hips, bringing your hands onto your legs, and then slide the hands down the legs, as far down the legs as you can get them. So you can either keep hold of the legs or take yogi toe lock. 2-piece fingers catch hold of the inside of the big toe, and then the thumb presses down onto the top of the big toe. In this position, pull your elbows out, bend the elbows, and then use the force against the big toes to help you get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Activate those quads, lift up the kneecaps. Let the head be heavy, relax the shoulders. It's our last hamstring, standing hamstring stretch, so make the most of it. Use your exhales to deepen, to soften. Taking a little bit more weight into the toes if you can. It feels like you're going to face plant the floor, but this is going to make that stretch more intense. Take one more full cycle of breath. Inhale, lift up the chest, come up halfway. Exhale, place the hands onto the hips. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Pivot on the feet, so you're framing that left foot. Bring both hands down to the floor. Step left foot back to meet the right plank position. Last chaturanga, hips and chest lower down to the floor at the same time. Untuck the toes, inhale to lift up the chest. Exhale, bring the chest down towards the floor. Tuck the toes under and then press back into your tabletop position this time. Swing the legs around. We're going to come straight onto our spines, coming onto our back. So bring both soles of the feet flat onto the floor. You might just need to move your bum a little bit closer to the front of the mat so there's enough room for you to roll down. Rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Lower back meets first, and then the middle back, and then the chest, and then last the shoulders. Bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. Just start to rock gently from side to side. We have got one final hamstring stretch laying down. It's not an intense one. You are going to need using a strap. So keep the leg in place of strap to the sky and extend the stretch to finish. Any pain, keep that on and draw the toes towards the chest. Pass the strap so it's in the left hand. So you're holding that strap, drawing a line, a diagonal line with that leg. We're just getting more into the adductors with this, left foot to move down. Just have a play around where can you find that stretch. And then slowly bring that foot back to the centre, bend the left knee. We'll swap legs, so hooking the strap underneath that right foot, right underneath the ball of that right foot, and then extend that left leg out. To begin with, keep hold of the strap in both hands and then just slowly creep the toes back towards the chest. Keep that left leg active as well. Try and keep the arms as straight as you can to prevent you from using the biceps. So in this position, you're trying to send your right heel back and draw the left toes towards the chest. Keeping a micro bend in that right knee if you need to. So this time pass the strap into the right hand. And we're going to start to open that right knee towards the right. So imagine you're drawing a diagonal line. The right knee comes out to the side, but also up to the back of the room as well. Keep pressing that left hip down. You might not find that there's much room. If you have got a wall in the way, you might need to move out of the way of the wall. And then slowly bring that foot all the way back up. Pass the strap over to the left hand this time. Taking that right foot all the way over to the left. Just feeling that stretch into the IT band. Again, play around. Where's your edge? Where can you find that stretch? And then slowly bring that foot back to the center. Release the strap. Place the strap to the side. We don't need that anymore. Hook the knees into the chest one last time. We're going to come straight into our Shavasana. So if there's any other movements, any other stretches that you want to do, if you want to do supine twists, happy baby, you're more than welcome to do those. If you are ready, come straight to your Shavasana. So taking the legs out long, hands down by the side. If there's any pain in the lower back, bend the knees and just let the legs collapse in towards each other. If you would rather, for this last 3 minutes, cross the legs and sit in your meditative pranayama position, then you're more than welcome to do this instead. So wherever you are, find in a comfortable position, taking any last adjustments, any last movements that you want to take. And then once you've got that comfortable position, just start to close the eyes. Take a couple of breaths, deep breaths in through the nose. Maybe exhaling it out through the mouth. Do that as many times as you need, as you want. And then start to find complete stillness. Just start to allow the body to relax. Allowing the shoulders to feel heavy, the head, the face to relax. Just letting the body melt into the mat, into the floor. If you'd like to stay here any longer, then you're more than welcome to pause the video or start to wake up your body. Just taking a couple of micro movements, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Maybe rocking the head from side to side, taking some deep breaths. If you'd like to take a pencil stretch, you're more than welcome. Take the hands up overhead, extend the legs out long. Making your way up into a comfortable seated position. If you'd like to come through fetal position, you're more than welcome to. Just take your time to find a comfortable seat. Either sit on your knees or sit cross legs, lengthening up the spine. When you've found your comfortable seat, either keeping the eyes soft or the gaze lowered or closing the eyes, just bring your hands together at the chest, Anjali Mudra, press the palms together. Drop your chin down to your chest. Let the shoulders feel heavy. Soften the face. Thank yourself for taking the time out of your Tuesday morning to join me on the mat. I hope you have a wonderful rest of Tuesday and a fabulous week. Namaste. Thanks guys. Thank you everyone. Let me know if you've got any questions as normal, and I will see you next week.